The sun was high just a moment ago, but now everything is dim, off, cold. You stand frozen in the middle of the clearing, a half-carved spear in your hand. Around you, your clan has stopped moving. The fire flickers like it's confused. The birds have gone silent. The wind holds its breath. You look up. The Sunyar Sunni's being eaten. A black curve is sliding across its face. Slowly, steadily, like a great mouth closing. You don't have a word for it, but you've seen the old cave drawings, circles swallowed by shadow, people kneeling, eyes wide. You never thought it was real. Someone screams. You turn. It's one of the children. Her mother pulls her close, dropping to the ground and covering both their heads. Others begin to panic. An elder throws ash into the air. Another pounds a drum. A few men raise their arms to the sky, shouting words older than language. You back away, heart thudding. You don't know what this is. You don't know what to do. The animals are gone. The wolves vanished before sunrise. The birds disappeared minutes ago. Even the insects have stopped. The sun is half gone now, half swallowed by the void. You've never seen the light dim like this before. It feels wrong, like the world is ending. You can barely see your own hands. Shadows stretch longer than they should. The fire turns gray. Elder Toggle steps forward. His eyes are full of fear. It has returned, he says. The sky demon. He kneels. So do others. You just stare upward. You can't look away. The sun is now a thin sliver. And then darkness. Not like night. Worse. The world turns black. The temperature drops. The light disappears. You feel it in your bones. Not just fear something deeper. Ancient. Like every part of you knows this is wrong. That something powerful is watching. No one breathes. No one moves. And in that terrible stillness, you wonder, will the sun ever come back? Before we go further, if you want to stay with us as we live through this ancient day, if you want to feel what they felt and see how your ancestors survived, moments like this, subscribe now. These stories are only just beginning. The sky is silent, and the sun is gone. You don't know how long you've been standing there. Seconds? Minutes? It feels like time itself has stopped. The sun is gone. In its place hangs a black circle rimmed with fire, a cold ring in the sky, like the eye of a dead god. You feel watched, judged. The air is heavy on your skin. Your breath clouds like it's winter, but it's not winter. You crouch without meaning to. You're not thinking anymore. You're reacting. Your hands dig into the dirt. It grounds you, but it doesn't help. The shadows are wrong. They twist, stretch. Your own body seems darker, like something has drained the life from the world. Then, a sound, a deep horn, made from a mammoth tusk. It's Elder Tagol. He's blowing it hard, his face red with effort. The sound echoes off the cliffs. 3 blasts in silence. It's a call, a warning, or maybe a surrender. The clan moves. Some drop to their knees. Others throw handfuls of dust over their heads. A few run to the edge of the clearing, chanting words they learned from their parents and their parents before them. You see Cora, the firekeeper, toss herbs into the flames. Smoke rises, thick and bitter. She's crying. One of the hunters, Deck, runs forward with his spear. He shouts into the sky, trying to scare the shadow away, but it doesn't listen. No one knows what to do. This has happened before once, long ago, the elders say, but most didn't believe them, until now. You crouch lower, heart pounding. Maybe it's a punishment. Maybe the sun is angry. Maybe it's dying. Elder Toggle walks into the center of the clearing. His staff thuds into the ground. His voice is hoarse, but strong. "Do not scream," he says. "Do not run." Everyone quiets. He raises his arms. "We will give the sun a gift. We will show the sky we are not its enemy." He looks at you. You. The others follow his gaze. Your stomach drops. You were born under a red moon. That makes you marked, the elders always said. Touched by spirits. Now they think you can fix this. You shake your head. But Elder Tagul is already cutting a line across his palm with a sharp stone. Blood drips into the fire, then he hands the stone to you. No one speaks. You take it. Your hands tremble. And above, the black circle still hangs, unmoving. The sun is still gone. You press the sharp stone to your skin. Not deep just enough. A thin line opens across your palm. The blood is warm. You walk slowly to the fire. No one tells you what to do, but you know. You hold your hand over the flames and let the blood fall. 1 drop, 2. The fire hisses. Smoke rises. The wind picks up. The others are watching, eyes wide, faces pale. No one blinks. Then Tagul begins to chant again. Low, rhythmic. A sound older than memory. One by one, the others join in. Some sway, some whisper, some cry. You close your eyes. The ground beneath you feels alive, trembling, breathing. Then, a sound, high, distant, not human. You open your eyes. Something moves across the sky. Not a bird, not a cloud, just a ripple in the light, like the sky itself is shifting. You look up. The black circle is still there, but something's different. The edges are glowing, brighter now. A ring of light burns around the shadow. Not warm light, cold, like silver fire. The air is buzzing. Cora drops to her knees and begins to rock back and forth. Dek throws his spear into the ground and backs away, mouth open, whispering prayers. Tagul doesn't move. You feel it in your bones. Something is about to happen. You step back from the fire. Then the ground shakes. Not an earthquake, just a jolt, a warning. The wind rushes through the trees, bending branches. Dust swirls in circles. Ash lifts from the fire like sparks. The black circle shifts again. You squint. The darkness is moving, retreating. A sliver of light appears at the edge of the sun. It's coming back. Someone gasps. A child begins to cry. The chant falters, then stops. All eyes go to the sky. The sun is returning, bit by bit. Light crawling across its face like a rebirth. You stare, afraid to believe it, but it's real. The sun is winning. You don't move. No one does. You just watch as the light returns. Slowly, the black circle fades. The edge of the sun pushes forward, bright and sure. Shadows retreat, colors return. The air warms just slightly. The cold grip on your chest loosens. You can breathe again. All around you, your clan begins to stir. Some laugh short, nervous bursts. Others weep openly. A few drop to the ground, pressing their foreheads to the dirt. Gratitude, relief, fear. Tagul raises his arms to the sky. The eater is gone, he says. The sun has forgiven us. You stay still. Your cut hand still bleeds, but you don't feel it. You feel something else, something new, like the world changed, even though it looks the same. The birds return first. A single call from the trees, cautious, then another, then a flutter of wings. The wolves howl from far off. The insects return to their buzzing. Life resumes, but slower, quieter. Everyone is shaken. You walk back toward the cave. Your legs are weak, like you've walked for hours. The stone under your feet feels more solid now, more real. At the entrance, you turn to look back. The sun is whole again, but the image of Ithalf-Eaton, Black and Berningus, burned into your memory. You know you'll never forget. Inside the cave, others begin drawing, charcoal on stone, circles, eyes, lines of fire. They need to record this for the ones who come after. so they will know what to do when the sky breaks again. You pick up a piece of ash and kneel beside them. You draw the circle too, the black sun. The moment the world stopped, the moment it came back, and somewhere inside you, a quiet voice whispers, "This was not the last time." The drawing takes shape beneath your hand. You smear the ash in a wide circle. Then you press your bleeding palm to the center, leaving a red mark in the middle of the black. Others do the same. One by one, the wall fills with images: rough suns, shadow mouths, lines of people kneeling, a ring of fire. This is how stories are born. You sit back, breathing slowly. The smoke from the fire still clings to your skin. Outside, the light is normal again, but it feels thinner, like it's not fully trusted yet. Cora brings you a wet cloth and wraps your hand. Her eyes are red. She says nothing, just nods. Across the clearing, Elder Toggle is speaking to the young ones. They gather around him like pups. His voice is low but steady. "You must remember," he says. "The sun gave us a warning. The children listen with wide eyes. You will tell your children, and their children. You will keep the chants, the signs, the gifts, so that next time we do not forget. You close your eyes. In your mind, you see the black sun again. Perfect, silent, cold. What was it? Why did it come? Why did it leave? You don't know. No one does. Not really. But one thing is certain. It changed you. The world feels different now. As if there's a layer beneath it, something hidden. Something that watches. You look up at the sky again. Blue. Clear. Innocent. But now, you know better. That night, no one sleeps. The fire in the center of the camp burns hotter than usual, fed by every dry log and stick the foragers could find before dusk. Sparks rise into the air like spirits escaping from the ground. Around the flames, the clan sits in silence. No music, no laughter, just the sound of wood cracking and an occasional cough from the older ones. You sit with your back against a stone. Your wrapped hand rests in your lap, still stained with dried blood. Cora sits nearby, staring at the flames, rubbing her hands together for warmth even though the fire is strong. You can tell she's still scared. So are you. Everyone is. You watch. Toggle. He hasn't moved in a while. He just stares into the fire like it's telling him something. His face is shadowed, unreadable, but you know he's already turning this day into something larger, into story, into memory, into warning. Eventually, someone speaks. Young boy, what was it?" he whispers. The question hangs in the air like smoke. Tagul doesn't answer right away. He lets the silence sit. Then he finally speaks, voice rough but steady. "It is the mouth in the sky," he says. "The one that hungers for warmth." The boy frowns. "Why?" Toggle turns his gaze toward the stars. "Because it is old. Older than fire. Older than the sun. It forgets we are here. So when it opens its mouth, we must remind it. Remind it we are still alive. That we still honor the light." Some of the older ones nod. A few younger ones shiver. You remain quiet, because deep down, you don't think the mouth in the sky forgot. You think it was watching the whole time. Across the fire, Deck sharpens his spear, not because he's preparing for a hunt, but because he needs something to do. The edge of the stone drags slowly along the wood, scraping a rhythm that no one enjoys, but no one stops him either. Cora leans closer to you and whispers, "Do you think it will come again tomorrow?" You shake your head. "Number?" She swallows hard. "How do you know?" You don't answer, because the truth is, you don't know. No one does. The memory of the dark sky is still fresh. Too fresh. You close your eyes and still see that black ring, rimmed in fire, burning in your skull like an old wound. The moon had never meant anything to you before. It was just something that floated above the trees. But now you wonder if it moves with a purpose, if it hides something, if it wants something. You don't even know what the moon is. The thought makes your head hurt. Toggle begins another chant. This one is softer, more like a lullaby. A few others join in, not many. The voices are tired, dry. You feel it then, that you are part of something ancient. That the ground under your feet and the stars above your head have watched others like you do this before. You are not the first. You will not be the last. And the thing in the sky, the shadow, the mouth, the iterate will come again. Maybe not for years, maybe not for generations, but it will return. You wrap your arms around your knees and stare into the fire. For the first time in your life, the sun feels fragile, like it could leave you at any moment and never come back. You never thought about it before. The sun was always there, warm, steady, dependable. It told you when to wake, when to sleep, when to plant, when to hunt. Now you've seen what happens when it's taken away, and you wonder, what if next time it doesn't return? The fire pops, sending a burst of sparks into the air. Someone flinches. Then, slowly, the clan begins to lie down, one by one, wrapped in fur and straw. No one speaks as they curl near the fire, closer than usual, seeking comfort in each other's breathing. You lie back too, but sleep doesn't come. You just stare up at the stars, wondering how many of them are watching you back, wondering if they remember what you saw today, and wondering how many more dark suns hang above this world, waiting, watching. You wake before the sun. It's not fear that wakes you this time, it's instinct. A sense deep in your chest that the world is stirring again, and you need to see it before anyone else. The fire has burned down to glowing coals. Most of the clan is still asleep, curled like pups in the soft, ash-ringed hollow. A few mumble in their dreams. One of the babies stirs and sucks its thumb. You rise quietly, stepping over fur-wrapped bodies, past the last wisps of smoke curling into the sky. You grab your cloak of animal hide and step out of the camp. The air is colder than usual. Your breath comes in soft clouds. You walk until you reach the edge of the forest, where the trees part enough for the sky to show itself. The eastern horizon glows with the first blush of dawn. You stare at it for a long time. Part of you still expects the shadow to return, to slide across the sun once more, like a lid shutting over the world. But it doesn't. Not yet. You sit on a stone and watch as the sky brightens. Slowly, carefully, like it knows you're watching. A bird sings once, then again. A pair of deer flicker through the brush, their legs silent, their ears twitching. The world feels normal again. But you're not sure if you are. After a while, footsteps approach behind you. It's Cora. She sits beside you without a word. Her fingers are raw from the night before, where she dug through ash to keep the fire alive. She hands you a small bundle-dreed berries wrapped in leaves. You eat in silence. Then she says, "I had a dream." You glance at her. In the dream, the sky broke open. But it didn't go dark. It went red, like fire, like blood. And there were voices, hundreds of them, but none had mouths. You choose slowly. What did they say? She shrugs. Nothing I understood, but they sounded angry. You both sit in silence again. It's not the kind of story that asks for a response. Eventually, more footsteps come. Tagul, Dek, and the foragers. No one's speaking much today. Even the morning ritual checking traps, cleaning tools, gathering wood are done without the usual chatter. Something lingers in the air. Not fear, not anymore, just heaviness. As if everyone carries the memory of the dark sky on their backs. You watch as Toggle draws new lines into the earth with his staff. He circles a spot in the dirt, then places small stones in a ring around it. It's a marker, a warning for those who pass by. Some part of you knows that generations from now, this circle will still be here. Maybe faded, maybe half forgotten. But someone will see it and wonder what happened here, what swallowed the sky. Dek approaches you. He crouches, tossing a stone between his hands. "I've been thinking," he says. "What if the shadow wasn't trying to take the sun?" You tilt your head. "What if it was protecting us?" he asks. "Like, maybe the sun was too bright, too strong. Maybe it would have burned us all if the shadow didn't step in." You don't answer, not because you disagree, but because the truth is you have no idea. No one does. The only thing anyone agrees on is this. It wasn't just a sky thing. It was a world thing. It reached into every part of you, not just your eyes, but your thoughts, your fears, your blood. You wonder if other clans saw it too, far across the mountains, across the rivers. Did they fall to their knees? Did they offer blood to their fires? Did they think the world was ending? Or worse, did it actually end for someone else? You look up again. The sun is there now, full and golden, innocent, like nothing ever happened. You want to trust it again, but a part of you still remembers how easily it disappeared. So you get up, you walk to Toggle and kneel beside him. "What do we do now?" you ask. He doesn't look at you. He keeps placing stones in the circle. "We remember," he says. "We teach. We prepare." You nod. Because you understand now. You understand that the world above is not just something you live under. It's something you live with. And if you forget, that even for a moment it can remind you, in the quietest, coldest, most terrifying way possible, with a shadow that eats the sun. Later that day, the clan begins moving again. Not far just across the ridge to the larger river, where the fish are thicker and the water runs colder. It's the same plan as always. You follow the seasons, the game, the safety of clean streams. But today, the steps feel slower, heavier. No one says it aloud, but everyone is thinking the same thing. What if it comes back? You walk near the front, just behind the scouts. The forest stretches out around Udall trees, quiet wind, thick underbrush that rustles with unseen creatures. Your feet crunch the leaves and twigs beneath you, and even that small sound feels louder than it should. Above, the sky is clear, not a cloud in sight, but you still glance up every few steps, just to make sure the sun is still there. Still whole, still bright. Behind you, one of the younger boys suddenly cries out. You turn fast, your heart leaping, but it's nothing, just a thorn in his foot. Cora helps him, whispering soft words as she pulls it free and wraps it in moss. He clings to her side the rest of the walk, eyes wide and searching the sky. By midday, you reach the river. The sun glitters on the water's surface. Fish dart through the shallows. Birds chirp. Everything seems normal, but the fear hasn't left. You see it in the way people glance over their shoulders, the way they stay closer together. You'll be ready. Not just with fire or chance or blood, but with memory, with meaning, with calm. Because now you've seen it. You've looked into the eye of the sky. You've felt what it's like when the world forgets the sun. And even though it returned, something inside you knows it could happen again. One day. Maybe when you're old. Maybe tomorrow. And when it does, someone will look to you, to your words, to your fire, to your story. And you'll tell them what happened. Not to scare them, but so they remember, so they stay steady, so they don't burn their homes or run into the woods, so they don't forget that shadows pass but the sun returns. You lie down beside the fire, curled in your hide, and stare at the sky. It's full of stars now, countless, cold, beautiful, and among them the moon hangs like a pale coin, harmless, now, but strange. You watch it for a long time, until your eyes grow too heavy to stay open. And as sleep takes you, one final thought rises like smoke. Maybe the sky isn't trying to hurt you. Maybe it's trying to remind you that you are small, but not alone. Morning comes slow and silver. The mist rises off the river in soft coils, winding through the trees and curling around the shelters like fingers of the sky. The fire has gone out, leaving only warm stones and white ash. Birds chirp carefully, as if testing whether the world has truly returned to normal. You wake before most of the others. Your body is stiff from sleeping on packed earth, but your mind is alert, sharper than usual. As if the eclipse did something to it, scraped off the soft parts and left only instinct. You sit up, stretch your legs, and look around. The river flows steady beside you. Cora is still sleeping, curled with the younger ones in a bed of woven grasses. Across the clearing, Tagul stands alone at the edge of the water, his robe fluttering in the breeze. You walk to him. He doesn't turn as you approach, but he knows you're there. "Do you see it?" he asks. You squint at the horizon. The sun is still low, a warm circle, climbing through pale mist. Its light reflects in the ripples of the river. "I see it," you say. Tagul nods. "It looks smaller now, doesn't it?" You pause. "Yes." "Not in size," he says. "In power. That's what fear does. It shrinks things." You glance at him. He continues. "Before the shadow, we thought the sun ruled everything. It gave us life. It marked the days. It told the plants when to grow and the animals when to move. It was a god." He points to the water. "But even a god can be swallowed." You say nothing. You just watch the sun rise. Behind you, the camp stirs. Crackling sticks, stretching bodies, quiet voices. Cora coughs and begins to relight the fire with dry moss and flint. Deck tests his bow, pulling the string tight and letting it hum. A normal morning. Almost. Tagul sighs. "We must speak to the children tonight." You nod. "The story?" "The truth," he says, "but told like a story." He looks at you. "Will you help me?" You hesitate, then nod. "Because you've been carrying the memory too, and you know it wasn't just something you saw, it was something that changed you." That evening, as the stars return and the fire burns bright again, the children gather in a circle. They sit on hides and flat stones, their eyes wide and waiting. The elders sit behind them, silent, watching. You and Tagul take your place beside the fire. He looks at you. You begin. "It started with silence," you say. "Even the birds knew before we did." The children lean forward. The light changed. You continue. "Not all at once, just a little at first. But we felt it. We felt something was wrong." They hang on your words. You tell them about the shadow, the silence, the fear in every chest, the way the sun vanished like a flame pulled away by wind, the fire that turned gray, the chant, the offering. You tell it all, not to scare them, to prepare them. Tagul finishes the story, and when the light returned, it was not the same. Because we were not the same. Silence follows. Then one of the youngest girls raises her hand. "Will it happen again?" You nod slowly. "Yes." The fire crackles. "But next time," you say, "you'll know what it is, and you'll remember what we did." She nods. The others do too. That night, after the story ends, the clan is quiet again. But it's a different kind of quiet. Not fear, not shock, understanding. They begin to draw the story on stone, not just circles this time. People, fire, the mouth in the sky, even you, even Tagul, frozen in charcoal and ash. You watch them carve, and you feel it again, that weight, that responsibility. The sun may leave again, but the story will stay, and so will the ones who carry it. The days pass. Not many, but enough for the fear to fade from the front of your mind and settle into something quieter, a shadow in memory. You still think about it when the wind shifts, when the sky dims during a cloudy afternoon, or when the moon rises too close to the sun. But the clan moves forward. There are fish to catch, roots to dig, tools to sharpen. Life doesn't wait, even after the sky falls. You wake early each morning now, not out of fear anymore, but awareness. You feel closer to the world above, as if part of you watches the sky the way others watch the earth for tracks or broken branches. You've become a sky watcher, without meaning to. One morning, as you step down to the river to check the fishing traps, you notice something strange. The moon is out, faint, pale, nearly invisible but there, hanging in the daylight. You stare at it for a long time, then a whisper from behind. It's following the sun. You turn, it's Tagul. He leans on his staff, eyes narrowed at the sky. He doesn't blink. You look again. The moon and the sun are far apart, but something about the way they move, you feel it too. A pattern, a rhythm. Do you think it will do it again? You ask. Not yet, he replies. But yes, one day. You crouch by the river, pull the trap. 2 fat fish wriggle inside. You set them down on the rocks and clean them slowly. Tagul sits beside you. When I was young, he says, my grandfather told me that the sky is not just above us, it moves through us. You glance at him. He said the moon is not just a rock, it's a memory, the world's memory. And every time it covers the sun, it's trying to remind us of something we forgot. What did we forget? You ask. Tagul smiles faintly. That we are not the center. You nod. You understand that now. You felt it the moment the light vanished, like the world turned its face away, as if everything around you had been watching, but you had never noticed until it stopped. That evening, the clan prepares a ritual not of fear this time, but of thanks. Not a festival, not a celebration, something quieter, grateful. They gather flowers, stones, leaves shaped like stars. Each person adds something to the circle by the river right, where the reflection of the eclipse first appeared on the water. You place a feather in the center. Cora places a shell. Dek adds a small carving he made in secret. It's a shape like the sun, with lines spiraling from its sides. Tagul kneels last. He speaks no words, just closes his eyes and presses his forehead to the earth. The river flows quietly beside you all. You don't sing. You don't chant. You simply sit together, watching the sun drop behind the trees. And as the sky shifts from gold to violet, you feel peace not because the fear is gone, but because you've named it, faced it, made space for it in your story. Later, as darkness falls, the stars appear one by one. This time, you look at them not with fear, but with wonder. You wonder how many others far away saw what you saw. You wonder how many stories were born that same moment. You wonder if the sky remembers you too. You lie on your back beside the fire, Cora asleep beside you, the others breathing slow around the circle. And as your eyes drift closed, one last thought passes through your mind. You are not just a hunter, not just a firekeeper, not just a shadow fearer. You are now part of the sky's memory, and it is part of yours. You wake to thunder, not a crack or a boom, just a low rumble, like the earth shifting beneath itself, the kind that makes the leaves tremble and the water in the river vibrate. You sit up, eyes scanning the trees. The fire has long since gone out, but the sky is already light. The sun is rising, pale and gold, behind a blanket of clouds. The warmth isn't reaching the ground yet. The air is thick. Storms aren't rare, but this one feels different. The animals are gone again. No birdsong, no chatter in the trees. Just the wind dragging through the branches like it's carrying a message you can't quite understand. You feel a familiar tightness in your chest. You stand and move quietly around the camp. Others are stirring too. Cora rubs her eyes, her brow furrowed. Dek is already near the edge of the woods, scanning the sky with narrowed eyes. Even the youngest ones sense something is off. Tagul steps out from his shelter, his robe heavy with dew. He says one word, "Watch." You follow his gaze. Up, the clouds are swirling. Not fast, not violent, but circular, slow, as if the sky is stirring something deep inside itself. You can't see the sun clearly, but its light pushes behind the gray veil. You don't know what this means, but you can feel it means something. Tagul walks to the center of camp and lights a small fire, not for cooking, not for warmth, just flame, just signal. The others gather. He kneels by the flames, speaking low. "This is not the shadow's return," he says. "This is something else." He lets the words sink in. Not every silence means fear. Not every cloud means death. You sit across from him, the damp grass soaking into your knees. "Then what is it?" He looks at you. It's a reminder, not from the sky, but from the earth. It speaks too when we forget to listen. The thunder rolls again, longer this time. You think of the eclipse, of the black sun, of how it felt like a god swallowing light just to see what you would do. This is not that, but it feels connected. You reach for a nearby stick and begin drawing in the dirt. A spiral, a circle, another spiral inside it. You don't know what you're making, but your hands do. The others join in, adding patterns, lines, animal shapes, waves, smoke. A storm isn't just weather, it's story, it's language. The wind picks up. Leaves scatter across your drawings, but no one stops. You all draw faster now, as if racing against something invisible. Then the rain starts, soft at first, then harder, but no one runs. You let the rain fall on your face, on your hands, on the earth. You tilt your head back and breathe. Because this isn't the kind of storm that breaks things. It's the kind that cleans. The kind that makes space. The fire hisses, but it holds. Even as the rain soaks the ground, the flames flicker stubbornly, refusing to die. You sit there in the downpour, your heart quiet, your thoughts steady. And as the storm washes over the camp, you realize something. You've changed. Not just because of the eclipse, not just because of the shadow, but because you've learned to listen, to silence, to wind, to things bigger than yourself. You press your palm into the wet dirt, leaving your mark beside the spirals. Another memory, another reminder. And when the rain finally stops, the fire still burns, and so do you. The next morning, everything smells clean. The storm has passed. The leaves are heavy with rainwater. The dirt is dark and soft beneath your feet. The air feels lighter somehow, like the sky has exhaled after holding its breath for too long. You kneel by the fire pit, drying a bundle of damp moss. The flames are small but steady, fed by dry twigs kept safe under shelter. Cora brings you a small stone bowl filled with roots and crushed berries. She doesn't speak, but you share a glance, and it's enough. You're both thinking the same thing. The shadow is gone, but something is still with you. After the eclipse, after the silence, and the fear and the strange stillness, the world looks the same, but it feels like it's watching. Not in a cruel way, not like a beast waiting in the dark, more like a teacher, waiting to see what you'll do with what it showed you. Tagul calls for a gathering. You sit in a ring near the riverbank. The ground is damp beneath your legs, but no one cares. Children squirm in their parents' arms. The elders sit with faces carved from stone. Everyone is listening. Tagul holds up a smooth stone the size of a heart. A hole runs clean through its center, worn away by years of water and time. This, he says, was once whole, heavy, solid. He passes it to the person beside him. But water changed it, drop by drop, until the center gave way. The stone moves from hand to hand. Each person holds it, feels its weight, then gives it to the next. You may think the shadow was a hole in the sky, Tagul says, but maybe it wasn't a taking. Maybe it was a making. You look at the stone when it reaches you. It's simple, worn smooth by rivers and time, but there's beauty in the emptiness at its core. You pass it along. Tagul continues. The hole didn't destroy the stone. It shaped it. It gave it meaning. It let it sing when the wind moves through. He raises his staff. We are the same. You glance around the circle. Faces you've known your whole life. Some scared, some calm. All marked by the memory of what happened. You realize something. The eclipse didn't just cast a shadow over the world. It carved something into you, a kind of space, a space for understanding. Later that day, the hunters return with fresh meat. The gatherers bring handfuls of mushrooms and roots. Cora prepares a thick stew that smells of smoke and garlic leaf. But this night's meal feels different. Not a feast, a ritual. As bowls are passed and fire crackles, no one tells stories. Not at first, they just eat, quietly, gratefully. Then Dex stands. He points to the stars. When I was small, he says, I thought the sky was just a ceiling. Some people chuckle softly, but when it went dark, I felt like I was inside something, not beneath it. He looks at the fire, like maybe the world isn't something we stand on, but something that holds us. You nod. It's exactly what you felt too, like the eclipse pulled the world inside out, showed you how small you are, and how much that matters. That night, you dream again. In the dream, you're floating not in water, not in sky, just weightless. The sun is above you. Then the moon drifts across it, like a hand sliding over a face. You don't panic, you just watch. And as the light disappears, you hear something. Not a voice, not words, just a single, steady breath, like the world is alive, and you are part of its lungs. You wake with your heart calm, and the sky outside just beginning to glow. You wake to birdsong, not the cautious, interrupted chirps from days before. This is full loud, layered, confident. The forest is alive again. You rise slowly from your bed of moss and woven hide. The morning air is cool on your skin, but it no longer feels threatening. It feels like breath, like beginning. You stretch your arms and step into the sunlight. And for the first time since the eclipse, you do not flinch when your eyes meet the sun. It's whole. It shines freely again. You walk toward the edge of the river, where the mist is rising in slow curls, drifting across the surface like memory. The water is calm, reflective. It mirrors the sky, perfectly blue, wide, innocent. But you know better now. You crouch at the river's edge and touch the surface with your fingertips. The cold wakes you fully. You close your eyes and listen. You listen not for danger, not for change, but for meaning. There is, none only, the steady sound of flow, and somehow that's enough. Later, you help Cora collect clay from the riverbank. Your clan is shaping new vessels, stronger ones, with tighter lids and carved sides. Cora is teaching the younger ones how to press their thumbs into the wet clay to leave patterns. They'll remember this, she says, every time they drink. You nod. Not every memory needs fire or chant. Some are shaped with bare hands. After the pots are lined up to dry, you sit under the trees to rest. The leaves flicker overhead. You lean back against the trunk of an old ash tree and let the sun fall across your face. You think of the stories you'll tell your children one day. You'll tell them how the world went dark in the middle of the day, how birds vanished, how voices fell silent, how the fire turned gray and the wind stopped moving. You'll tell them about the black circle in the sky, how it swallowed everything, how it made you feel smaller than a single leaf in the forest. But you'll also tell them how the sun came back, and how you were there to see it. You'll tell them what the clan did, how you sang, how you bled, how you waited, how you listened, and how, when the world turned its face away, you stayed, because that's what matters most, not what you fear, but what you choose to do while afraid. Tagul joins you beneath the tree. He holds two small branches, bent and tied with vine into circles. He hands one to you. What are these? You ask. Reminders, he says. You look closer. The ring is smooth and simple, just a loop of wood bound by a single knot. It has no end, he says. No corner to hide in, no edge to fall off. The sky moves like this. The moon, the sun, the breath in your chest. You hold it in your hands. It feels light, but heavy with meaning. You will keep it, he says. Hang it near your shelter. When you see it, You'll remember that what disappears can return. You nod slowly. Even the light, Toggle smiles. Especially the light. That evening, as the fire crackles and the scent of roasted meat fills the air, the clan gathers again. Not to mourn, not to fear, to share. You tell your version of the eclipse. The moments you remember most. How the sun faded piece by piece, like bark stripped from a tree. How the blackness settled not just over the land, but inside your chest. How it made time stop. Then Cora speaks, then Deck. Then one of the children barely old enough to form full thoughts says something that makes everyone pause. "I thought the sun was playing hide and seek," he says. You all smile. Not because he's wrong, but because maybe he's more right than he knows. The universe doesn't always speak in riddles. Sometimes it plays games, and sometimes it just is. That night you hang the wooden ring near your shelter, tied with a strip of dried grass. It spins gently in the breeze. You lie back on your bed, pull the furs over your shoulders, and close your eyes. The image of the eclipse still lives behind your eyelids, but it no longer frightens you. It reminds you. You're walking through the forest with a basket of berries strapped across your back. The sun flickers through the branches, dancing between leaves and bark. It's warm today, warmer than it's been in a while. The kind of warm that invites bees to hum and small lizards to stretch out across the stones. You stop beside a fallen log and press your fingers into the dirt. There are deer tracks, fresh ones. You won't follow them today, but it's good to know they're still nearby. The world is moving forward. So are you. Every now and then you glance up, not out of fear but habit. You check the sun. It's whole, round, familiar. But the memory never leaves. The circle, the silence. The moment the light disappeared, it's not a wound anymore. It's a mark, like charcoal on stone. A memory pressed deep, but not painful. You walk farther into the woods, careful not to step on the mushrooms growing in the shaded soil. You collect leaves for wrapping food, long grass for binding, and a few stones smooth enough to grind roots. It feels good to work with your hands again, to move with purpose, not out of survival, but out of rhythm. Something rustles to your left. You pause. It's only a rabbit. It darts through the underbrush and vanishes beneath a bush. You watch the spot for a few seconds, waiting, listening. Then you continue. The forest has always had sound snaps and creaks, flutters and footsteps, but now every sound feels sharper. You hear more, feel more, like your senses are still trying to protect you, just in case the sky forgets itself again. You return to camp before the sun reaches its highest point. Cora is tending to a child with a scraped knee. Deck is splitting logs for firewood. The older ones are boiling herbs in thick clay pots, stirring slow, whispering lessons to the younger ones watching. You place your gathered items in the communal tent, then wash your hands in the river. As you do, a reflection catches your eye. Not your own, the moon, faint but visible, hanging above the sun, off to the side. Just like before, you stare at it. It isn't moving toward the sun. Not today, but it could, someday. You finish washing and return to camp. The scent of smoked meat is in the air. You sit near the fire, and Tagul joins you. He doesn't speak at first. Then he asks, "Do you still fear it?" You shake your head. Not fear, just awareness. He nods. Good. That's what the shadow gives us. He watches the fire for a moment, then adds, "The animals fear, they run, but we remember. That is the difference." You poke at the coals with a stick, watching sparks jump and twist upward. "We used to think the sun was a thing we could trust," you say. "Now we know it can leave." Toggle shrugs. "Maybe it always could. Maybe the trust was ours alone." You stare at the flames. "Do you think it tests us?" Toggle thinks for a while before answering. "Maybe. Or maybe it's just the sky breathing, and we were lucky to notice." You smile. That sounds like him. Later, As dusk settles over the camp and the light turns golden, you see the children playing again, running, shouting, laughing. One of them is holding a stick overhead, pretending it's a torch to chase the sky monster away. The others run in circles, screaming and laughing. They're turning the eclipse into a game. You watch with a full heart, because that means they're healing too. And maybe that's the greatest power the sun holds, not just in its light, but in what it gives when it returns. The chance to begin again. You sit beside Cora as she stitches a new pouch from deer hide. Her fingers move quickly. Her eyes are calm. "You're quieter now," she says without looking up. "So are you," you reply. She nods. "It's not a bad quiet." You agree. It's a peaceful one, the kind that only comes after something big has passed through you and left you stronger. You look up at the sky again, still blue, still bright. But you no longer take that for granted, and you never will. You sit by the river sharpening a stone blade. The edge glints in the sunlight as you drag it across a flat rock, shaping it slowly, carefully. You're not rushing. This tool isn't for hunting, it's for something else. You plan to carve. Not on wood, on stone. The idea came to you in your sleep, in the quiet space between dreams. You saw the black circle again, not as something to fear, but something to mark, something that should never be forgotten. Not just in memory, not just in stories, but carved where eyes will see it for generations. Tagul said once, "The ones who remember are the ones who survive." You believe that now more than ever. After your blade is ready, you gather some berries and fill a pouch with wet clay to carry with you. Then you leave the camp and walk alone, deep into the woods until the river narrows and the trees begin to thin. There, hidden behind roots and moss, is the stone wall. It's old, cracked from seasons of wind and rain, covered in old marks from people long gone. You've seen it before but never touched it. Until now, you kneel in front of the wall and press your palm to the cold surface. This will be your voice. You begin by scratching a circle, then a second circle overlapping it. You smooth the lines, shade one side with clay. Press your fingers along the outer ring to shape the memory. Then, slowly, carefully, you carve a smaller circle inside the black the sun, returning from behind the dark. You add lines beneath it, people kneeling, fire rising, hands raised, eyes watching. You take your time. This isn't just for you. It's for the ones who haven't been born yet. You think of your future children, of Cora's, of Dex, of the child who said the sun was playing hide and seek. You want them all to know what really happened, that the sky went black, that the world held its breath, that the fire stayed alive, that you did not run, that you watched, that you waited, that you remembered. When the carving is done, you step back and sit cross-legged on the dirt. The wind moves through the trees behind you. The leaves rustle softly. A single bird sings once, then falls silent. You close your eyes and let the moment settle. No one else is here, but you feel something watching. Not in a heavy way, in a peaceful one. Like the sky knows what you're doing and approves. You head back to camp slowly, retracing your steps with quiet feet. When you arrive, Cora is boiling herbs. Tagul is sitting by the fire with his staff resting beside him. The children are collecting berries. Life continues, but it's all a little different now. You sit by Cora and say softly, "I made a mark." She looks up at you. "A mark?" You nod. "So they don't forget." She says nothing, but her hand finds yours, and she squeezes it. That night, the moon rises full, not dark, not covering anything, just glowing white and soft like it's resting after a long journey. You lie beneath it with your hands folded on your chest, your eyes wide open. You remember the shadow, but more than that, you remember how the light returned. And now, so will everyone else. The seasons begin to shift. The air in the mornings is cooler now. Dew clings to every leaf, every blade of grass. The animals move differently, slower, more careful. You can feel the rhythm of change settling over the forest. You help prepare for the coming cold. You dry meat over low fire. You smoke fish in woven racks. You gather roots that will keep through the long nights. Everything has purpose. Every movement counts. But even as your hands work, your mind drifts. You think of the day the sky went dark. Not every moment. Not the panic. Not even the silence. You think of what came after. The drawing in the dirt. The hush by the fire. The ring Toggle gave you. The story the children now whisper to each other at night, retelling it in their own words. They say the sun was sick. They say the moon tried to heal it. They say your blood gave it strength to return. None of it is exactly true, but none of it is wrong, because the Eclipse lives in your clan now, in memory, in muscle, in story. Cora sits beside you by the fire, stitching a thick hide cloak. You watch the thread pull through the leather tight, neat, practiced. She speaks without looking up. When the next one comes, I want to be old. You raise an eyebrow. Why? She smiles. So, I don't have to be the one they turn to. You chuckle softly. She looks at you. You'll be the elder by then. You'll have to tell them what to do. You nod slowly. I will. And you mean it. Because you're not the same person you were before the sky changed. You're steadier now, stronger. You've lived through something that has no name. And you came out the other side, not broken, but clear. Later, you walk with Toggle up the ridge that overlooks the river. It's a quiet climb. The leaves crunch beneath your feet. The path winds through trees and stone. The air smells like earth and distant rain. At the top, you sit. The world spreads below your river. Forest, smoke from your fires, glints of water from the fishing pots. The sun hangs above it all, whole, warm. You did well, Toggle says softly. You glance at him. I'm proud, he adds. You look away, not sure what to say. I won't be here forever, he continues. Someone will have to carry the chance, the fire, the knowing. You nod. I will. He breathes deep. The sky doesn't care about names, but stories keep us alive. You both watch the sun for a long time. Then he says, when it disappears again, remind them, not just what happened, but how we endured it. You nod again, because you will. You promise. As you make your way down the ridge, you think of the carving you made in the forest. The circle, the fire, the eyes. It will outlast you. Maybe someone will see it 100 seasons from now and wonder what it means. Maybe they'll feel the same fear when the shadow returns. And maybe because of you, they'll remember how to face it. Not with panic, but with purpose. Not with screams, but with stillness. Not with despair, but with a story. The leaves begin to fall. Not all at once, just a few at first. A yellow one lands on your shoulder while you're tending the fire. You pick it up, feel the veins beneath your thumb, and let it drift back to the ground. The wind is changing. You've seen many seasons, but this one feels different. Not because the air is colder or the animals scarcer, but because of what you carry now. A memory that moves with you. A shadow burned into the edge of your thoughts. You're not haunted by it. You're shaped by it. The clan builds thicker shelters now. Cora is sewing a lining of moss into the sleeping firs. Deck is stacking firewood into tall, crisscrossing towers. The children are quieter than usual, but it's not fear, it's focus. Everyone feels it winter coming, and something older too. You walk the trail beyond the camp alone. It winds between tall trees, whose branches now rattle in the breeze like dry bones. You move slowly, taking in everything: the crunch of leaves, the scent of pine, the sudden hush when the wind dies. You reach the old wall. Your carving is still there, weathered now, softened by rain, but visible. You kneel in front of it and trace the ring you carved the black sun. Your fingers find the grooves, now slick with damp moss. You whisper the chant Tagul taught you, not loud, not for anyone else, just to keep the memory alive. Then, for the first time, you add something new, a small figure kneeling beneath the sun. You. You don't add weapons or flames or blood, just one person, watching, because that's what mattered most, that you stayed. You press your thumb into the damp clay at the base of the carving your mark. The next time the sky forgets the sun, someone might find it, and they'll know they're not the first. You head back to camp as the light fades behind the trees. Smoke rises from the center fire. The scent of roasted meat drifts on the wind. Cora waves as you return. She holds out a bowl of hot broth. You sit beside her. Sip slowly. Feel the warmth fill you from inside out. Across the fire, Tagul speaks to the children. His voice is steady, but softer now, older. He tells them about the day the sun disappeared, how the sky turned black, how the fire almost died. He gestures to you, and how one of us stood still, he says, and remembered. The children turn to look at you. You nod once. They smile. Later that night, when the stars come out, you lie on your back near the fire. The moon is high, but far from the sun. Safe. You watch it drift above the trees and wonder how many more times it will pass in front of the sun in your lifetime. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe never again. But you're not waiting in fear. You're waiting in readiness. Because you know what to do. You've lived the story. You've told the story. You've become part of it. The frost comes in the night. You wake to a layer of white on the grass, the leaves, even the roof of your shelter. Your breath clouds in the air. The fire has burned low, but the coals are still hot. You feed it dry twigs, watching the flames come back to life. Cora stirs beside you, pulling the fur tighter over her shoulders. She doesn't open her eyes, just breathes deep and settles again. The others are still asleep. The camp is quiet, wrapped in cold. You step outside. The sky is clear. Stars fading, sun not yet risen. The moon has already slipped away behind the hills. You stand there barefoot in the frost and look up, searching the sky like it might speak to you again. It doesn't, but you listen anyway, because that's what you do now. You walk to the river. Ice has begun to form along the banks, thin and delicate. You crouch and press your hand to the surface. It cracks gently beneath your fingers, and you smile. The earth is changing again. So are you. By midday, the sun returns strong and golden. The frost melts from the leaves. The clan gathers to finish the last of the winter. Task's furs are hung. Stones are placed to mark the windbreaks. Dried meat is sorted and tied into bundles. Tagul watches from his seat by the fire. His hands tremble more than they used to. He doesn't speak as much now, just listens. You sit with him. He looks at you for a long moment, then says, "Soon I will sleep longer than the stars." You know what he means. You don't say anything. You just nod. He continues, "When the sun vanishes again, I won't be here to see it, but you will." You place your hand over his. "I won't forget," you say. He smiles. That night, he gathers the clan one last time. He stands slowly, leaning on his staff, and tells the story again. Not the way he used to know, with big gestures or firelight dancing across his face. This time, it's quiet, slow, like the final verse of a long song. He points to you. "This one watched," he says. "This one waited. When we were afraid, they stood still. When the sky broke, they held the fire." You feel the heat of 100 eyes on you. You lower your head, not out of shame, but something deeper, gratitude, humility. Tagul ends the story with a phrase you've heard him say before, but now it feels different. When the light goes, don't chase it. Just keep the fire. It always finds its way back. The clan repeats the words softly, like a promise. After the gathering, you sit alone by the fire. Everyone else has gone to sleep. The coals glow orange and red. You feed the flames slowly, one stick at a time. You think of the sun. You think of the shadow. And you think of all the faces around you, the ones who saw, the ones who feared, the ones who remembered. You understand something now. The story wasn't about the sky. It was about you, and what you became when the light disappeared. Tagul does not wake the next morning. You're the one who finds him, still curled beneath his fur, his staff resting beside him. His face is peaceful, eyes closed, breathless. You kneel beside him in silence. You do not cry. You do not call out. Instead, you press your forehead to the earth beside him, just like he did during the eclipse, and you whisper the chant he taught you. Others gather slowly. One by one, no one speaks. They only place stones beside him. Not heavy ones, small ones, round ones, soft-edged, like the stories he used to tell. By midday, you build his resting place's circle of stones under the trees, near the river where the mist always returns. Cora weaves herbs into the lining of the grave. Dek leaves Tagul's staff standing upright in the earth. And you place the wooden ring, the one he gave you, right in the center, so the wind can move through it, so it can sing. The sun passes overhead as the last of the stones are laid. You look up. You half expect something to happen. A ripple in the light, a flicker of shadow, but the sky holds, clear, whole. You spend that night awake, not in fear, in memory. You walk the edge of the camp, watching the firelight flicker against the shelters, the moon gliding along its silent path. The air is cold, but inside you there is warmth, not the kind that fades with sleep, the kind that remains, because you carry something now. Not just Toggle's lessons, not just the chant, but the knowing. The eclipse was not a test you passed. It was a door you stepped through. And when the light returned, you didn't go back to who you were. You became the one others look to, the one who keeps the story. At dawn, the children gather around the fire. One of them asks to hear the story again. Not from Tagul, from you. You sit on the warm stones. You tell them everything. How the day began with birds going quiet. How the sun faded, one bite at a time. How the sky went black. How the air grew cold. How the fire almost died. How your people cried, and some knelt, and some shouted, and some stood frozen. How you watched, how you waited, how you remembered, and how, slowly, the light returned. They listen with wide eyes. They ask questions. You answer every one. And when they finally run off to play, imitating the eclipse with sticks and clay masks, you know something for certain. The story is alive, because you are. And one day, when it happens again, someone will look to the sky and not feel lost. Because your voice, and Toggle's, and the voices of everyone who stayed, will still be echoing in stone, in fire, in memory. You wake to sunlight on your face. It's warm, gentle, steady. You open your eyes slowly and lie still, letting the heat soak into your skin. The fire outside is already burning. The scent of roasted roots drifts through the air. Somewhere nearby, a child is laughing. The world is quiet but not empty. You rise. The sky is clear. A few soft clouds drift lazily above the treetops. The sun shines strong, unbroken. And still, without thinking, you glance up, not out of fear but respect. You know it could vanish again. But for now, it's here. You step out from your shelter, stretching your arms and rolling your shoulders. Your body feels older somehow, not from age, but from what you've carried. You've walked through darkness and returned with light. Others greet you as you pass. A nod, a smile, a shared glance. No one talks about the eclipse now, not often, but you all remember. It lives in your steps, in your hands, in the way you tend the fire, in the way the children now draw suns with rings around them. You walk to the edge of the forest. The path you carved with your feet is still there. You follow it, past the tall trees, past the mossy stones, all the way to the wall. You kneel before the carving. It is faded with rain and wind. Some lines are softer now, but it's still there, still clear. The black circle, the fire, the eyes watching, the one who knelt. You press your palm to the stone you mark beside the old chant. You breathe slowly, letting the moment return. It doesn't feel like fear anymore. It feels like truth. You stay there for a while. Then, when the sun begins to dip lower in the sky, you rise and return to camp. The clan is gathering. A new child was born last night. You sit by the fire as Cora carries the baby in her arms. She places a leaf in its tiny fist. The leaf is shaped like a crescent moon. Someone begins to hum a lullaby. Soft, slow. You look around the circle at the faces old and young, at the eyes that once saw the sky go dark, and at the eyes that will one day see it happen again. But this time, they won't be afraid, because you left them something. A story, a ring, a chant, a mark in the stone. You've done what you were meant to do, and as the fire crackles, and the sky turns orange, and the first stars begin to shine above the trees, you lean back against the earth, close your eyes, and listen to the wind, to the breath of the world, to the space between shadow and light. And in that stillness, you know, you remembered, and because of that, they will too.